title reps, knife salesmen, yoga instructors, or whatever it is. If you have to generate a lead or a relationship or sell something for a living, then you should be in this Generate group. We are reviewing this book, Lead Generate, 61 Days to Double Your Pay. We're actually on day 41 today, which I got to tell you, I wrote this chapter thinking back into my 20s and 30s, how poorly I mismanaged or ran or forgot to thank the team members that help in my success, right? In some ways, I think I'm very generous as a boss and I do a pretty great job as a leader. In other ways, especially again, in my late 20s, early 30s, I was not nearly as good at it. So day 41, count on your team. Count on your team. If you are a fully commissioned salesperson or a business owner or an entrepreneur, or you sell anything really, you count on lead generation for your livelihood. There is a chance that you have some type of field support, somebody supporting your business, somebody supporting building your widget or selling your service or building your whatever it is you sell. In almost every job or business endeavor, you have some type of team, right? And team might be peers that are in the same business as you, that are at the same point in life as you, but maybe you work in the same office. Maybe it's your team as part of your leadership structure who's actually helping you get where you go. Maybe they are somebody that's on your team, but subordinate to the job that you do. Maybe they're a support person at corporate, quote unquote. Maybe there's somebody that you're hired, whatever the case is. Never, ever, ever take this team for granted. Yes, you are presumably the rainmaker, right? That's just the way that business structure is set up. And we are rewarded as the salespeople. We're the most heavily rewarded normally in the transaction for being the salesperson that can bring in the deal. You bring in the deals. You create the relationships, the at-bats, and the revenue stream that keeps everybody fed, right? And I think it's important to remember that because that will help us stay committed to the lead generation, right? It's a big enough deal that I have to lead generate enough to create business opportunities that are going to put money in the pocket for myself and my family. But when you start to add on layers of people and now you're taking care of their family and now your business is responsible for feeding their children, that becomes sometimes an overwhelming responsibility. And sometimes we don't respond so well. So anyway, if your job is to lead generate, you probably also have the ability to make more money than anybody else on your team, right? Like I said, the business world, they favor the person that brings in the deal. However, don't lose sight of the fact that you are frequently able to close deals, retain clients, build new relationships, and or attract new referral partners because of the team's hard work that goes on behind the scenes, right? So if my assistant isn't helping me with the schedule and the calendars and the marketing activities, if my partner in the loan business is not building the loans and doing the transactions and helping get that information to closing on time, like none of it happens, right? And all the leads dry up because the leads are a reflection of our efforts on the lead generation, but then it's also a reflection on how we do in the business. In the mortgage space, that's where I work, depending on your level of production, you may have a loan officer assistant, a production assistant, a pipeline manager, a processor, an underwriter, a closer, a junior loan officer, or a myriad of other positions, all created to support you in spending more time on lead generation and structuring deals. One of my first questions when I talk to a prospective coaching client is, hey, who's on your team? It infuriates me when I hear answers like, I don't have a team, or it's just me, or I haven't hired anybody yet. This is one of the few times I cuss in the book. Bullshit, exclamation point. If you don't treat the other people at your company who help you close and retain business as part of your team, you're missing a huge point of leverage, right? So if let's say you're a sole practitioner, independent contractor, 1099 realtor, I'll just use realtors because I'm close to many of them and they're my favorite example. And at the end of the day, you work for, I'll pick a company, KW, and you feel like, well, I don't really have a team because I haven't hired anybody. I have to pay for them out of my own pocket. That's not true. You have a team lead, you have an MCA, you have it's market center admin, I think. You have a receptionist at the front desk. You have other people that you can talk to, that you can take out to lunch, that you can treat as part of your team to get great knowledge, right? If you're part of a real estate company, for example, even though you don't think you have a team, you probably have an escrow officer that you refer to, and a title officer that you refer to, and a lender that you refer to, and a home warranty person you use. These are all people that are part of your team, and you should be meeting with them once a quarter, a couple times a year, get their ideas for what's working on lead generation, get their ideas for what's working in the business world. There's plenty of people that you can lean on for knowledge, for accountability, for friendship, just so that you have somebody else in your team and on your, in your tribe that you're walking a mile in these shoes with. So treat your team members well, and then lean on them to help you accomplish your goal, right? Hold them accountable without micromanaging them. This is if you run a team. Read a book or two on management and delegation. I highly recommend 2 books. And actually, Danielle, we'll put the links here in the, see, I'm talking to my team right now, Danielle. We'll put the links here in the Facebook post. One is The 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. Absolute must read if you're managing anywhere from 1 to 1,000 people. And then number 2 is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. It's all about how do we take extreme self-responsibility and self-ownership of the task and then delegate information out appropriately to the team. 2 of my favorite books on leadership. Lean on the resources you have, invest in your team so you can spend more time working on your business instead of in your business, right? On your business instead of in your business. And here's a great example, right? And this, I'm going to pat myself on the back here, but there's a lesson here at the end. One of the most challenging or most important things in the mortgage industry is to keep an eye on interest rates, lock in interest rates for your client at a price point that is acceptable to them and gets them a great rate and gets them a great deal, but is also profitable for your company, right? Because bad things happen to good companies that don't make money. So locking in an interest rate is something that normally loan officers or loan officer assistants or people on the team feel is like, oh, only the loan officer can do that because it's super important and it's super detailed and whatnot. And there's a lot of finances that go into it. As we are about to get on this call, I got an alert from a bond tracking service that I follow, like, hey, ahead of the jobs report and ahead of the other stuff that's coming out this week, we might want to bias towards locking, right? Into locking in the interest rate, meaning anybody that has a refinancing process or a purchasing process, lock them in. Normally what that would mean for most loan officers and myself previously, before I got better at managing a team, normally what that would mean is, oh my God, cancel the generate call for the next half hour. I need to be in there locking rates. What happens if rates, move against us before I can lock these people in? It would have thrown us into an absolute panic, and I would not be here serving you, and I wouldn't be doing what I want to do with marketing and getting the branding out there and helping you guys and getting the book out there and then jumping on another call in 3 minutes with some realtors who I want to do some events with. All of that would have got thrown into an absolute cluster, right? Instead, through training and a systematic approach to how we run our business, right now, my loan manager is currently locking 4 or 5 loans for me. She knows where our thresholds are. She knows based on the notes on the file where the rate needs to be to make the client happy, but also make the company some money. She has access to do that. And she knows what to do. So before I jumped on this call, I said, hey, looks like the market's moving against us. Barry Habib, who's a bond tracker and market analyst who I follow, recommends that we just go ahead and lock in rates. And so we're just going to go ahead and lock in rates. Anybody that's going to close by the end of the month, or in the month of July, I should say, because it's July 1st. Anybody that's going to close, go ahead and lock them. If you have questions, shoot me a screenshot on Telegram. It's the texting service we use. And I'll let you know what rate to jump in. So instead of like this moment of absolute stress and panic and a half hour, like, oh my God, we got to lock in the interest rates. Like, I can still be here serving you guys. I can trust my team to do the job that they've been hired to do. I can lean on them. I've given them the training to know how to do that process. And I'm even giving them the get out of jail free card. They're like, hey, if you get stuck and you don't know where to lock something in, just shoot me a screenshot. When I'm on my next call with these realtors, I can take a moment to step away, look at the screenshot, text you back what rate the client should be locked in on, and then you can take over, right? This is the benefit of having a team, trusting your team, honoring your team, training your team, and then letting them do the big boy work when you've got to be doing other marketing stuff and doing lead generation or doing some type of marketing. So those are my thoughts for today. Trust your team, guys. Love you lots and lots. And by the way, we're over 2,000 people in this Generate group, which really makes me smile because we're only a couple months into this journey. But if you know anybody who should be in the Generate group, or if you're enjoying these videos, do me a favor. Let me know I'm not just talking to myself. Click the like button, leave a comment, add somebody, go into the actual Generate Facebook group, search for it and then go into it. And in the middle right-hand side, invite some members. If you know somebody that needs to grow a team who's selling something, who's an entrepreneur, we'd love to have them in here.